What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Board Games Are For Everybody, where today we are continuing on with Final Girl. We are doing another scenario from Series 2. We are doing a knock at the door with the Intruders as our killers for this scenario. There are indeed 3 of them. Pretty interesting setup for this scenario. We are playing as Ginny. Our powers here, 2 victims can be used to decrease the horror track. 1 victim can be used to move a space. 1 victim will regain a heart. 1 victim we can take at the guard reaction card. That'll be pretty nice. And 1 victim we get 2 time. If we get, this is different. If we get our complete, all 6 victims, our special power, choose 2 of the following that will apply to all results when resolving that action for the remainder of the game. Choose 2 of the following that will apply. So I get 2 of these. Move +1 space when resolving walk. Gain +1 heart when resolving short rest. +1 attack when resolving weak attack. +1 reduction to the horror track when using focus. Each additional victim will give us time back. So that's pretty interesting that we'll be able to choose 2 of those. I will probably end up taking more health on the short rest, but even possibly more damage on the weak attack would be useful. And then we might also go focus as well, but we'll see how the horror track goes. It only starts at 3, so right now it's not too bad, but it could potentially get worse. So we are at Wingard Cottage. The special rules for Wingard Cottage on the left hand of the board here, you can see up here we have some items that we can craft. Nope, this is the wrong order. We have some crafting items. Supply items is what they're called. We have some supply items on different sections of the board. There are different icons that give you... Where's the other one? Is it in the bedroom? No, there's 3 people in the bedroom right now. What's going on in the bedroom? What's going on in the bedroom right now? So 1, 2, 3. There should be a 4th one somewhere. Is it under my killers? No. Is it in the kitchen? No. Bedroom? No. Porch? No. Oh, it's over here. So there's 4. There's 1 in the garage, 1 in the shed, 1 in the boathouse, and then 1 in just this field space here. If we end a movement on this space, we can use 1 time to add that particular thing to our inventory, and we can use those items in order to craft items that are along... that are down here. Now we need stuff that is in the item deck, which is a bit of a pain because if it's not in the item deck, that's gonna kind of screw us over. However, these are crafted items, and by combining an item card with one of these supply cards, it basically allows us to make an upgraded version of whatever such thing. So as we can see with the nail gun here, we need to discard nails and discarded tools as well as 2 time in order to craft the nail gun. And it's going to give us different benefits. We've also got the nail bat, which is the wooden bat and nails. We have the spear, which is a piece of wood and a knife. And we have the spiked slingshot, which is nails and a rope. And they're all going to give us, it looks like most of them just give us damage. If we can get that nail bat, that would be nice because it doesn't have a restriction on it and it's an extra 2 damage. The nail gun and the spiked slingshot only have 3 uses each, so that could be a bit of a pain. And that's pretty much it for the special rules for Wingard Cottage. Now with the Intruders, because there's 3 of them, there are a handful of rules for that. First and foremost, as you can see, all of them have 6 HP. That rhymed. I didn't mean for it to turning into a modern day Dr. Seuss with psychotic killers. All of them have 6 HP. That's a bit of a pain because that means we need to do 18 damage total plus whatever potential extra damage they're going to have. As far as whoever is considered as the active killer at the moment, it is based on this killer token right here. Currently, we're starting on the top killer. As we go through the terror deck, there will be icons that switch who the active killer is. The active killer also switches if we choose to attack one of the killers. Whichever killer it is we attack becomes the active killer. Otherwise, the terror deck will change who the killer is. There are some action cards that only specify for one killer to move. There are some terror cards that specify for all the killers to move. If all the killers move, then we have to start from the top and go down in order. Now, they all have names. I don't know what their names are. Are their names on here somewhere? Okay. Hold on. I think they're around here everywhere. So, we've got Baghead, which I guess is, the guy with the bag on his head. We've got Trish. Who's Trish? Second killer action starts by moving the active killer token up. So it looks like this person here with this kind of scarecrow Halloweeny mask is Trish. And then we've also got, oh no, hold on. This is Trish. The red meeple's Trish. So Trish is this person with the skull mask here. And then Zeke is the person over here with the Halloweeny kind of mask. So we have Baghead, Trish, and Zeke. I'll try and remember those. It's possible we're going to constantly change what they're called. I was definitely going to go with Baghead or Bag Mask or something like that for the bag character. So we were pretty good for that one. Pretty self-explanatory. And then we probably would have gone with Skullface. And we probably would have gone with Halloween Mask. Those probably would have been our names. I'll try and remember the names as we go through. I don't know how well that'll go. But, yeah. Outside of that, same as usual when dealing with multiple killers. Even though there are multiple killers, we only get the +1 dice once. We don't get it if all 3 of them are down to 1 HP. And I think we're just going to start. This is going to be... This is going to be interesting. I forgot to bring a dice tray down, so I guess we're just going to be rolling on the mat. We also have to reveal our signature action here, as usual. That signature action is Scavenge. Take 2 random item cards from those out of play and keep 1. Take 1 random card from those out of play, so that means I need to get the item cards that are out of play. And that's at random, eh? Interesting. That could actually be quite helpful. Let's grab those item cards. They could be useful for us, especially... Actually, that's particularly useful for this map because we want to try and get those... we want to try and get those items so that we can craft... so that we can craft stuff, and this is going to be a good way to do that. So we only have 4 items that are left over here, so we're just going to place those off to the side here, because it does say to take random cards. And hopefully one of those cards is something that's something that we can use. We'll see. We will see. Okay, let's start. We just got to go with our first event here. And it is Another Way Out. Where are the boat keys? Place the boat token in the lake and the neighbor in the family room. The neighbor has the keys to the boat. When the neighbor is on the lakefront, they and up to 3 other victims on that space may exit to be saved. If the neighbor leaves play, discard the boat. Place the boat on the lake and the neighbor in the family room. Where's the family room? This one? Nope, that's the foyer, bedroom, laundry room, bathroom. Is it this one? Nope, bedroom. Oh, was this the family room? This was the family room. There weren't 3 people in the bedroom. There were 2 people in the bedroom. I guess that makes a bit more sense. That makes a bit more sense. And then we need to put our boat on the lake here. So we get, if we get to the boathouse with that character, with the neighbor, we can get a handful of people out. That would be, and I would guess that the neighbor also counts as a saved victim, so they would also go on our card. So that could potentially be 4 characters right there, which is pretty nuts. Pretty nuts. And then what else? Is there anything else? We'll go over the items that we have at the moment. In the boathouse, we have the blender, not just for making milkshakes. Can only be used in the house, discard after use. So long as you're in the house, you can use it to deal 3 damage, but it has a one-time use. The blueprints. Weird to find blueprints for instruments. The text is really small, sorry. Weird to find blueprints for instruments of death. Perfect time to build one of these. Discard the blueprint to select a crafted item from the unused crafted cards in the now. It is now available to craft. So I guess I need the crafted cards as well. I'm going to need those as well in case we end up with that blueprint. So there are 5 other potential cards that we could craft. We'll just place these off to the side here. So the blueprint says that we can choose one. That one's not random, so that should be pretty helpful. And last but not least, in the garage... Oh, those are supposed to go back in there. Last but not least, in the garage, we have the mysterious pills. I hope these at least help get rid of this migraine. Yeah, that would be nice. Ending up with a migraine isn't fun. I would guess, especially not while trying to deal with a bunch of psychotic killers. Discard this card during the action phase and choose one of the following. Either reduce the horror track by 1 or gain 2 hearts back. So that's not terrible. Okay, it's only been 15 minutes with all that setup explanation. Let's get into the game. So first things first, that blueprint, pretty useful. That scavenge ability, also pretty useful because we can grab items from outside here. We're going to start off, like usual, with a focus, seeing as our horror track is quite low right now. Starting off strong, we got 1 and a partial. We're going to discard our short rest and our weak attack as we don't need them at the moment in order to turn this partial into a full success. And that is going to allow us to gain 2 time, and we're going to decrease the horror track by 1. We're going to go with our second focus here, hope for the best. And just a partial. I don't have to move, but I would like to. We're going to lose the 2 time we just gained if we didn't, though. So maybe we just set up for next turn, get a couple sprints. Maybe get a search, because searching is actually going to be quite helpful here. We want to go to the shed, which we're right beside, so that's pretty nice. Yeah, maybe we'll just discard our walks. But if I could get into the shed, that would be nice, right? If I could get into the shed, so maybe I shouldn't discard them and just take the 2 time hit. We're still early on in the game. I think I want to try and move around and possibly save some people. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to move around and we're going to try and save some people. So we're just going to take the 2 time loss on this. We're going to try and do some moving. 1 star, so we lose a time and can move up to 1 space. That's not particularly beneficial, but I guess we'll come up to the shed and then we'll discard this last walk to get a time back. So we're at 6 times, so that's not bad. We're going to buy a sprint so that we can get that blueprint, because that blueprint, or sorry, we're going to buy a search, not a sprint, because that blueprint will be useful, so that'll be 2. We're going to buy a sprint so we can move, which unfortunately means we aren't going to be able to use the distraction. So maybe we're going to buy a sprint and we're going to buy a guard, or we could buy 2 sprints and focus on our movement, even though unfortunately we're only going to get 2 dice for it. There's no other way for us to decrease the horror track unless we attack, which currently we can't do. We have 4 left. I guess we could buy a Furious Strike. We could potentially end up in a space, but the killer is either going to go here or here next turn. And if it went here, we could make it to it. Though, if I buy the Furious Strike, I'm going to have no movement, so that won't do much for us. So we're going to buy 2 sprints for the cost of 4, so we have some movement. So that's going to be all of our... That's going to be all of our stuff for this turn. All just zeros. I don't know why I'm even looking at these. I know where they all go. And that'll be our hand for next turn. So now we go to the killer phase. So we're starting off with, what was it? Trish, the red meeple, which is this one right here, who I believe is a chick. So this chick here, Trish, I guess that makes sense. Trish is a pretty feminine name. So they move towards the closest victim or final girl and they attack. So that's a little rough, because that means that the horror track's going to go up by 2 right now, which is unfortunate. So let's say they move up this way, which would be make the most sense, because it also brings them closest to us. But that is 1 dead victim for us, so that's not useful. So the horror track's going up by 2. So we're up to 4. That kind of sucks. And then we got to draw a terror card. They can't get in here, right? Place 2 new victims in each bedroom. So there's 2, oh, there are 2 bedrooms. So that's 4 new victims, and the horror track's going up by 1. That sucks. It's a good thing we got it down. Maybe we should have bought some of those distractions. So we got two new people just joining these 2 people who are already in the bedroom. And then we have a new group of 2 people in this other bedroom over here. And that's going to be the turn. There's no one in the killer space to panic. That is something that I did not bring up. As far as panicking goes, victims in any killer's space will panic, not just the active killer's space. So we have to try and keep that in mind as well. So that's all done. No one's panicking. There's no upkeep to do. It is now our turn. So first things first, we're going to go with that search so that we can try and get the blueprint or possibly something else, right? Only a partial. That really sucks. Oh, I don't really want to increase by 2. That wouldn't be useful for us. We're losing 2 time regardless here. Unless I use my 2 sprints in order to switch that partial, but I don't want to use 2 sprints to switch that partial. I also don't really want to only roll 1 die. But I want to search that blueprint, because getting cards is going to be useful for this scenario, I think. So unfortunately, I think we just have to leave it. We're going to take the top card at the space we're on. The horror track's going to increase by 2. So unfortunately, now we're only down to 1 dice rolling, which sucks. And we lose 2 time. But we do get the blueprint. Discard the blueprint to select a crafted item card from the unused crafted items. It is now available to craft. Now, do I have to do this right away? Do I have to do this right away? Because I don't know what items are in the decks here. So if I have to do it right away, is there anything with a blender? Wood, nails, discarded tools. Oh, that's all stuff that's over here. That could be useful. You may place a nail trap token on your space, 1 per space, during the action phase for 1 time. If an enemy enters the space with a nail trap, discard the token. The enemy takes 1 damage. That's not too bad. Nail and rope, nail and discarded cards. So both of these guys we can craft by just using stuff that's on the map. That's pretty nice. You may place a nail trap. Yeah, we read that okay. We got the disemboweler, which we need the wooden bat, the knife, and the rope. That's pretty rough, and it only gives us 2 extra damage, so that's unfortunate. Oh, but it has an effect, whereas the nail bat doesn't have an effect. After applying damage to the target enemy, decrease the horror track by 1 for each other enemy on the same or adjacent space. Sawed-off shotgun, a snare, rope, wood, and 1 time you may place a snare token on your space. If an enemy 1 time discard the token, they can no longer move. That's not too bad. The Obliterator. Wood, rope, discarded tools, and nails. So every single crafting item can be used to make the Obliterator. The Obliterator may not be used to modify reaction cards, and all movement is reduced by 1 to a minimum of 1. When used, receive 1 damage for each 1 in your final horror roll result, but it adds 3 damage to our attack. So that's not horrendous. If we use critical blow, we could do 6 damage, which would kill one of the villains there. Even if we just use the Furious Strike, that would kill them. And then we've got the Porcupine. Let's see them come at me now. Trash can lid, nails, and 2 time. Ignore a damage and deal 1 damage. Has 3 use. I think we're going to go with the Obliterator. That's a hefty, what's the word I'm looking for? That's a hefty task for us to take on. We have to go pretty well all over the board in order to get all that stuff. We have to go here for wood, here for discarded tools, here for... Is that more wood? Is that more wood? The boathouse for rope. Where do we get nails from? Oh no, are nails not a... Nails must not be... Oh no, they are. So where are the nails? Where do I get the nails from? They're here. Somewhere. Not in the family room. Not in the kitchen. Obviously not in the bed. Oh, are they... Oh, they're on the space I'm at. Oh, okay. They're on the space I'm at. So we're definitely going to go with the Obliterator for that new crafted thing with the blueprint here. While we're in the space here, we're going to... What is it? I take 1 time to take a thing. So we're going to take a time and we're going to take the nails into our inventory here. Okay. And now we just need to do some movement since our search was unfortunately bad. We're going to try and move anyway. We only get 1 dice to roll. We got the success at least. So we lose 1 time and we can move up to 2 spaces. So that kind of sucks. I definitely don't want to come towards here, but... We might have to grab a guard. We might have to grab a guard to try and defend against the killer attacking, because we could potentially save these 2 victims on the next turn. So we're going to go 1, 2 into this space over here. Is there anything in this space I can pick up? No, nothing in the lakefront. We're going to save sprint for our next turn. I think that's the best thing to do. So we have 2 time, which we're going to use to buy a guard because hopefully we can save one of these victims from getting attacked. And then we're just going to take all the stuff that we have left here. And then we got a sprint and a search. This is going to be our hand for next turn. We now have to do the killer action. So they're going to move 1 space towards the closest victim or final girl. And they're going to attack. However, we are going to guard to try and prevent them from attacking. Now, we only have 1 die still, so hopefully... Oh, well, even if we get nothing, we reduce by 1 damage. So regardless of the roll, this is going to... Yeah, so nothing, but even no successes reduce damage by 1 to a minimum of 1, and they're still doing 1 damage. So we have successfully blocked that attack. And we need to draw a tarot card. That wasn't a random attack. If there are no victims on the board, discard this draw the next tarot card. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Move towards the closest victim and attack. Increase the horror track by 1. So they're already in the space. So unfortunately, another victim is dying because we don't have another guard. So that's going to put this up by 1. They now have a movement of 2. That's not good. And we also have to increase the horror track, which we can't do. And I think this is the first time this has actually happened. So we have to increase the horror track by 1. Or the bloodlust track by 1 again. So we are getting close to that dark power being revealed. That's unfortunate. So this victim, unfortunately, is going to panic. Hopefully they go towards this wood over here. So a 3 through 5. That was not a 3 through 5. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong space. 1 through 3. That is the way I want it to go. Looking at the wrong space. I was looking at the one the wood's in coming up towards the lakefront. So they've panicked over that way, which is fine. We can still take them over that way. We're definitely going to have to use it to reduce that horror track a little bit, at least so we can try and get more dice back. So they've panicked. There's no upkeep to do. We are continuing to our next turn. We're going to start off with the focuses. We need to try and get that track back up. So at least 1 star. Okay, we got a star. Well, 1 star is all we can get. So horror track goes back up. We lose 1 time, but we're back to having 2 dice at least. So that's nice. We are going to save our sprint. Well, actually, I could attack before we hop out of here. So maybe we'll do our attack. Success and a partial. I could get rid of the short rest and a walk in order to switch that. I don't want to take a damage right now. Even though we are early, we have to deal with 3 killers, so I don't really want to take too much damage if it can be helped. So we've attacked. We're now going to do our walk. Oh, that was a focus. That's fine. We can focus. 1 success, so we lose a time, but we do get the horror track up 1 more, so that's good. Now we're going to do our walk. Oh, oh boy, oh boy. Move 1 space, take a heart, lose 2 time, or just lose 2 time. Either way, I'm taking 2 time. That's no good. I may as well make the movement. That's rough. 2 time, eh? That sucks. And we lose a heart. Okay. That's not good. I would need to save this sprint. If I wanted to pick up the wood, but maybe we can pick up the wood when we're over here. I need to save that 2 time. in order to buy a guard. So I think we just have to chill here. I think we just have to chill here and we have to wait until next turn to do our movement. We're going to buy a guard to try and deflect the attack there. And we're just going to have to hope that the terror card doesn't have him attacking us, because that would be unfortunate. So we have 2 time, so we're just going to buy the guard. And that's going to be all that we can afford. That'll be our hand. The killer moves 1 space and attacks, so we're using the guard to try and save this victim, hopefully. And 2 successes, block all damage. So that victim is safe. We need to draw a terror card. Okay. Place the active killer in your space. They're in my space. Attack the final girl. So we take 1 damage. And now we have this lovely little icon here. It's going to move the active killer down 1. So they're going to come here. So we're now on to Baghead. And we are moving towards the final girl. They have a movement of 2. However, they only have to go 1. And then we are going to be moving down once again. So we're moving down to Zeke. Oops, cards are in the way here. Moving down to Zeke. And Zeke is also going to be moving towards us. We're just having a powwow over here in front of the boathouse. Luckily, no one else is attacking us, so our victim is still safe. No one died this turn, so he's not panicking. So provided we can move with this sprint, we'll at least get out of here. So that's nice. We saved our victim, but we are currently surrounded. We are currently surrounded by literally every killer. That's no fun. That's no fun. Moving 3. If I start making my way towards the garage, that's going to potentially mess me up. I won't be able to cut through the house. The farthest I could get is the porch. Oh, you know what? No, I don't have to do that. If I get the 3, I was going to drop a person off here and then move over. But if I get the 3, I can bring the victim with me, and we can cross the porch and come over to the driveway here, and we would be able to save 2 of them. So we just got to hope that we get these 2 stars so we can move 2 spaces. Oh, look at that. 2 stars. Nice. So we lose the time, but we do get that 3 movement. So we're just going to mosey on out of here with our victim. We're just going to be like, nope, I don't want to deal with you guys right now. Can I take a wood before I move out of that space? I can grab a wood up there, though. I don't really need to worry about that. Getting back to the boathouse is going to be a pain, though. I really need those guys to get out of there so I can get to the boathouse for that rope so we can make the obliterator. So we did 1 movement, 2 movement to the porch, and then we're going to do 3 movement over to the driveway here. We're going to rescue both of these victims. They have escaped. I think we're using both of them to move the horror track down. At least one of them to move the horror track down. Maybe getting 2 time would be nice. I could also use 1 to move a space. We could move into the garage. It would allow us to get those discarded tools. And we could also buy a search in order to get those mysterious pills, which would allow us to decrease the horror track. But that's only if we get the item. Or it would allow us to heal 2, which would also be beneficial. But I think for sure I want to reduce the horror track, because the next bloodlust to go up is going to increase the horror track again. So I think we're going to reduce the horror track by 1. Do we move or do we take 2 time? I think we move. We're going to buy a sprint. We're going to buy a search. I think that's going to be our turn. We're going to try and focus on rescuing people. But I don't think we're going to be going into the house, because that'll be 3 to get up to the bedroom here. The bedroom does lead out to this back side, though, so that could be helpful. But if they start moving around the back, which they can get to quite easily, that's going to be a bit of a pain. I would never, absolutely never, have a door that leads into my bedroom. That is the most horror movie scenario possibly imaginable. I don't care if it's a cabin. I don't care if it's a cottage or if it's a summer home, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Having a doorway into your bedroom just invites all sorts of not good. Nothing good can come from that. Nothing good could possibly come from that. So we're going to take the extra move. We're going to come into the garage. We are going to spend a time to get those discarded tools from the garage. And then we're going to end our turn. So we're now going into our purchasing phase. We're going to buy a sprint. We're going to buy a search. We're going to try and get those pills or possibly the item underneath. Or should I buy... I could buy the scavenge and try and go for items that are out of play. But I'm also thinking maybe I should buy distraction. Maybe I should buy distraction to try and get our horror track down a bit more. So we've got these 6 here. I think we're going to buy a distraction and a close call. That's going to be the 4 that we have. Sprint's going to go back. Guard's going to go back. We have some movement with the walks, so that shouldn't be too bad. But I think the better option is to try and get our horror track down because they seem to be increasing the horror track quite a lot, and I don't want to be only rolling a handful of dice, plus having multiple dice is beneficial for us. Okay, so it is the killer's movement. We are currently on Zeke. Zeke is our current killer. They are moving 2 spaces towards the closest victim or final girl. That would bring them coming up this way. Would also bring them coming this way, I suppose. But here they can get to 4 of them. And that's the less likely thing, right? Or the least favorable thing is what I meant to say. So we've now got Zeke in the back. Trish and Baghead are on the west end side of our cottage here. Okay, we need to draw a terror card. At least no one got attacked this turn. That's nice. It was wearing a mask. Increase the horror track by 1. This is what I'm talking about. We need to decrease that horror track. If there are no victims on the board, discard this card, draw the next terror card. Lower... or move the active killer down by 1 so it loops back up to the top. So Trish is now our active killer again. Move towards the closest victim and attack. Now, just like Zeke, they're going to moving up this way and no one in the space. But now both Zeke and Trish are on the north-hand side there, and there's quite a lot of victims over there, so that's not great. That's not great. Okay, no one died, so no panicking. We still have the terror deck, so nothing else to do there. So we're just going to hop into our next turn here. So I only have walks, I only have walks. We're going to start off with that distraction. We're going to try and get this horror track down a bit. Partial and nothing. I'm going to close call this nothing. Another partial? Fuck me. The weak attack and the short rest, right? That's what we normally do. The weak attack and the short rest. That would only get 1 up though. That's fine. So we'll discard those to increase this to a full. So we're going down by 1. We get 1 time. We're going to go with our focus. Single success on that, which I'll take. So we lose a time, but we go down again. Going with focus. 2 successes, so we lower and we gain 2 times, so back up to 8. We're down to 2 on the horror track. Not a bad turn. We're going to try and do some walking, hopefully. We can at least save that victim up there. Oh, I wouldn't be able to grab the wood. I would have to stop on that space, huh? This could be... Okay, it's fine. So, single success, so we can move one... Well, that works anyway. We can move 1 space. So we're going to use a time to get that wood. So we just need to get to the boathouse. We just need to get to the boathouse and get the rope, and we can craft the obliterator. And once we have that, because that deals an extra 3 damage, we're going to try and grab critical blow. We're going to try and take one of these guys out. Currently, Baghead is off by himself over by the boathouse, so that might be our best option. But we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see how it goes. And unfortunately, nothing on this, so we're just going to lose... Fuck, we're going to lose a health. We're going to lose a time. But we're going to be able to move 1 space. So we're going to save this victim. They're probably going to go after victims, but if they come after me, I have nothing to defend with. They're still only doing 1 damage. They're still only doing 1 damage. That shouldn't be too bad for now. I could also put it on the horror track to get 3 dice for us, but they're probably going to raise it next turn anyway. I think I would rather take the 2 time and try and get set up here. I definitely want to get those 2 sprints. I want to get over to the boathouse. So that would be 4. Critical blow is going to be 6. I'm only going to have 8. I could buy 1 sprint. 1, 2, 3. That would only get me to the lakefront, though. And I didn't keep the other walks, so it's going to take us at least 2 turns. So we don't have to worry about critical blow this turn, but we need to make sure we have our full 6 next turn so that we can grab it. So we're going to put it on +2 to our time is what we're going to go for. And then that's going to end our turn because we have no cards left. So we need to purchase some cards. Do I buy a guard? Do I go for the distractions? That could also be a thing. I do need to buy the 2 sprints. We need the movements. So that's going to be 4. So we have 3 left. And I think we're just going to buy a distraction with the 3. I could also go for the scavenge, but I think I want the distraction first so that we can try and get the 3 dice before we start doing that. I'm definitely going to want 3 dice before we start attacking because it'll give us better odds. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Distraction, close call, short rest, and weak attack. Okay, the killer is still Trish, so Trish is going to move towards the closest victims and attack. She would most likely come in here with these 4 victims because they're all going to panic, so we have 1 victim being killed, unfortunately. They're now doing 2 damage per attack, and we have to increase the horror track by 1. We also now need to panic these 3 victims that are in this room, in this bedroom. Trish just popped into the bedroom here, so we have a 1, a 2, and a 6. So 6 runs into the bathroom. 1 and 2 are, oh no, just 2 to 4. So 1 is staying in the bedroom. They're just way too scared. And then 2 is coming out here towards Zeke. That's not helpful. That's not helpful. So we unfortunately did have a death this turn. 1 more victim killed and the dark power is going to activate. That's not great. That's going to happen next turn unless we go attack Baghead, because Baghead is pretty far away from all the victims, but I have nothing to attack with. So unfortunately, at least 1 more victim is going to die. So that dark power is definitely going to get activated for sure. So we've panicked. We have no upkeep to do, so we're just going to head into our next turn here. We're going to start off with the distraction, try and get some more dice. And we have a success and a partial. All we can do is just take the regular. So we get 1 time. And we're 1 away, so unfortunately we don't get that third die, but that's okay. 1 success and a partial, that's fine. We'll take the time and a movement of 2. We'll go 1, 2 into Zeke's space here. Hopefully we can get 3. Just another 2. Okay, so another time gone. We're moving 2. We're going to go 1, 2. So Baghead's not the active right now, so that's... Oh, I can't even do that actually because they won't go into a killer's space with us. So would it be better for me to move back and just rescue this victim? I want to get over to the boathouse. I want to get over to the boathouse for sure. Because I want that rope. Because then we can activate the obliterator. And we can potentially take out a victim. We're not at 6. We're not at 6 though. I can't buy critical blow. But I could buy improvise, which would be beneficial for us. Could buy improvise and a search. So we could use that blender while we're in the boathouse. We could take that blender for sure. So maybe I will move over and this victim's just going to stay in the lakefront and we're going to end up in Baghead's space. And that's going to be our turn. So Trish is going to kill this victim, unfortunately. So that's a 4th victim dead. So their dark power is going to activate. Strength in numbers. Each attack does 1 additional damage for each other killer on the same or adjacent space. Dang. Well, that's definitely going to affect us. It's a good thing that victims only have 1 damage. Although I could be wrong. I could be misremembering, but I don't think that their damage just spreads to multiple victims on the space, but it could. It could be if they deal more than 1 damage, they attack more than 1 victim, but I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's how that works. I didn't do my planning phase like an idiot. I didn't do my planning phase. We have 5. I'm going to buy improvise. No, I don't need improvise yet. I'll buy the distraction. And I'll buy the search was what I was going to do for the 5, right? And then I'm going to take all these because they're what's going to allow me to move next turn. So we got our sprints and we have the distraction. Trish killed a victim. We need to draw a terror card. We're not going to make it through the night. Not at this rate. Move towards the closest victim or final girl and attack. They'd probably move over here into the kitchen. They could also move into the bathroom, but... So, this person's dead, unfortunately. So we're going up again. We're increasing the horror track. And then move the killer track up. So we've moved up to Zeke. Zeke is now the active killer. Move towards the closest final girl or victim and attack. So they're unfortunately going to be killing this one over here. So that's another victim dead. That is rough. Them moving around, I feel like the strategy here, and we have to increase the horror track by 1. So the horror track just got increased by 2 this turn. That sucks. I feel like we really need to focus on attacking. We really need to focus on attacking certain guys in order to get them to not... In order for them to become the active killer. I have a bad feeling that when we flip this finale card over, it's going to say, move all of them at the same time. Move all of them every turn. That would just get rough. We would definitely die in that case. Okay. There's no other victims in the space, so no one to panic. It is now our turn. We should probably short rest, eh? We should probably try and get that health back. We're going to start off by using the distraction. We've got a success and a partial success. I want to keep a lot of this stuff. I definitely want to keep the search. I definitely need the walks because I need to get into that space. Bringing it down by 2 would be nice, though. I don't want to get rid of the short rest. I could get rid of the weak attack and a focus, but I'd rather keep both focuses. I think we're going to get rid of a walk. We need to at least get into the boathouse. So we're going to flip this over to a success. So we're going to decrease the horror track by 2. We're going to gain 2 time. We're going to use a focus. Okay, so we lose a time, but we do decrease. So we're now on to 3 dice. So that's nice. We're going to use the other focus. We now get 3 dice. And a single. So again, we lose a time, but the horror track has gone down. We're going to go for the short rest. Hopefully we can get some health back here. 1 success and a partial. So we lose a time, but we get 1 back. So we gain a heart back. Up to 3. We're going to walk. Partial and a single. The single's all I need. We only need to move 1 space. So we're coming up to the boathouse here. We're going to spend 1 time in order to get that rope. We are going to discard all of these. We're going to use the nail, the discarded tools, the wood, and the rope in order to create the Obliterator. We can't use the Obliterator as part of a reaction, so if we're using Retaliate, we aren't allowed to use the Obliterator. But we have the Obliterator. We now have it. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to use it next turn. Unless I use something smaller as far as damage goes. But I don't want to, I can't even afford, excuse me, I can't even afford anything smaller. We're probably going to buy a guard because Zeke is currently the active killer and he's closer to us than they are to a victim. So they're going to be coming towards us. So we'll probably buy a guard and a close call. We're unfortunately currently in a position where it's going to take us a couple turns to get the time we need in order to start doing some killing. But okay, 1 success. So we lose a time, unfortunately. But we do get the top card. So we're going to get this blender. And so long as we're in the house, we can discard this card in order to add 3 to an attack. So that could actually be super useful because again, if we use critical blow in tandem with that, that'll completely take out one of the killers. Okay, that's our turn. That's all we got. So we only have 2 left. We're just going to buy the guard. Are they doing more damage? They're doing 2 damage now, eh? So we're just going to buy the guard this turn. Or do I buy a sprint? Do I just take the hit? I'd be down to 2 health. But I want to be able to move, right? I think we just have to take the hit. Because then I'm just going to be stuck here and they're going to attack us anyway, right? So we would just be wasting a turn. Okay, so it's just sprint we're going to have for next turn, unfortunately. Unfortunately. So Zeke is currently the active killer. They move 3 spaces towards the closest victim or final girl, which actually is now a victim because they're moving 3 instead of 2. So I guess they would go after a victim. So I guess the sprint was the good choice. So they would go 1, 2, 3 into the bathroom here. Although I guess they also could have gone 1, 2, 3 into this space here, which would be more likely. And then I guess they would probably go after the neighbor, right? The neighbor would be the first person to die because they're the one with the boat. So provided the neighbor can be killed, I would think that they would go after the neighbor. So the neighbor is the one who's going to be attacked. Our bloodlust is going up 1. Those 3 are going to panic into another spot. So we have 4, 4, 2. I need to draw a tarot card first. Hold on. We'll save that for a sec. I need to draw a tarot card first before we do the panicking. Now get the hell out of my house. If you are not in the house, discard and draw the next tarot card. Rip. Well, we are not in the house. It was wearing a mask. Okay. So, horror track up by 1. Killer, active killer down by 1. So we're back to Trish. Move towards the closest victim and attack. They have that movement of 3, so I guess they would also be coming down here. But let's say they came into the bathroom. So they're going to be killing the victim that's in the bathroom. We're back to 2 dice because our horror track is going up by 2 here. That's unfortunate. Yeah, that sucks. They're really close to the top of their thing. I don't think we're going to win this one. I don't think we're going to win this one. We haven't even done... We've done 1 damage this entire turn so far. We did make the Obliterator, though. I think that's the first time that we've actually had an item in our hands. I think that's the first time we've actually had an item in our hands. Okay. Yeah, so that went up. We now need to panic for these guys, which we had 4, 4, and 2. So, 2 to 4. They're all panicking into the kitchen. So Zeke's just chilling in the family room here. He watched them all run into the kitchen. They're lurking. Okay, everyone's panicked. There's no upkeep to do. There's still a couple cards in the tarot deck. It is our turn. All we can do is use our sprint. It's all we got. Do I want to use this, though, or do I want to wait? Unfortunately, it's going to mean more people are going to die. It's going to mean more people are going to die. Trish is currently the active, so she would move into the kitchen and kill a victim. It would bring the Bloodlust track to the top, which is bad. But I want to keep the 6 so I can buy the critical blow. So maybe I shouldn't use the sprint, because then I can use it next turn to move. And we can possibly at least maybe take 1 person out. So I think we're going to hold on to the sprint, and we're just unfortunately going to skip this turn. And then we're going to buy critical blow with the 6 that we have. Oh, that's rough. Okay, so Trish is the active killer. They move 3, so 1, 2 would be the closest. They attack and kill a victim. Their Bloodlust is now at the top. That's bad. We need to draw a tarot card. Why are they doing this to us? Good question. If there are no victims on the board, discard, draw the next tarot card. Move the active killer up by 1. So we're back to Zeke. Move towards the closest victim and attack. Increase the horror track by 1. So Zeke is down here. They're going to move up here because there's 2 of them there. This person's dead, unfortunately. So discard the next terror card is the bump. So we are discarding the next terror card, which means next turn the finale is going to activate. So that's a little rough. I should have taken all this stuff, I guess, when I was doing stuff so that we actually have movement. That was probably something I should have paid attention to. And that's that. That's that. Oh, and then this person has to panic, I guess, right? We got a 1. Oops. It doesn't matter. We got a 1. So they are too scared to panic. They're just chilling in the kitchen with these 2 killers. Figured they would make a cup of tea or something like that. Okay, still don't have the finale going. Next turn is going to be the activation of the finale, so that'll be rough. We need to just start with our walk. We need to try and get to the space. Oh, you've got to be joking me. You've got to be joking. Oh, I guess we're taking 1 hit so that we can still move. We're going to move to this space here. Do I want to collect the wood? Is there anything else I can use wood for? There is not. Not unless I get the knife. But I don't know if we even have the knife. Okay. Oh, sheesh. I didn't get it. And we only have 2 dice. The odds of us getting... I guess we also have the weak attack too, though. Okay, we're going to go for it. Even though we only have 2 dice, we're going to go for the critical blow. We get an additional 3 thanks to our obliterator. I think this is a one-time use, right? The obliterator may be used to modify... may not be used to modify reaction cards. When used, receive 1 damage for each 1 that you roll. Oh, I can use this multiple times. Oh, shit. I was also supposed to discard 4 time when I made that. I don't know if I had 4 time when I made that, if I'm being completely honest. So to properly make up for that, let's just take our 4 time off of the remaining time that we have here. I think that's a good way to... I think that's a good way to kind of make up for it, right? I think that's a good way to make up for it. So let's hope that we get 2 stars. We did not. We got 1 star at least. Oh no, our turn ends? Oh no. Ah, really? That's shit. So we do 3 damage plus 2 damage. The horror track goes down at least, so that's nice. We only dealt 5 damage to Baghead. So Baghead now becomes the active killer, but I was really hoping we were going to be able to take him out so that we could flip the thing and see if he died or not. Okay, Baghead's the active killer, which means he's going to attack us, which is bad because we don't have anything to... Well, I guess we have all this stuff for our next turn, which is good since we have a 0 currently. So the walk's going to go back. The critical blow's going to go back. We go back up to 6. I guess it's a good thing we have stuff, or we would have just had to skip the next turn. Okay, Baghead is attacking us for... Oh no, I might be dead. I might be dead. I should have used the weak attack first. I should have used the weak attack first. That's bad. That's bad. I don't even remember what I rolled. I was supposed to take a damage for each 1. I think it was a 6 and a 2 that we rolled. That's what's there anyway. Okay. Well... That's unfortunate. I should have used the weak attack first. I'm an idiot. I was just like, oh, the critical blow does more damage. That's obviously the one we should go with, but no. It ended my turn. I should have done the one that we could have gotten an attack on first. That sucks. Anyway, Baghead's going to attack us for 3 damage, which means we might be dead. We might be dead. Unfortunately, that might be the end. It might be the end. The reveal. Ooh, 2 hearts. We're not dead yet. We are not dead yet. So I believe that I get a permanent extra die for being on my white, right? I get an extra die. I also get an extra die because Baghead's at 1 HP. Not that it matters right now, but next turn I should get 2 extra dice. But that might just be when I'm at 1. So that might just be when I'm at 1. So you didn't get us, Baghead. You didn't get us. We need to draw a tarot card. This is the last tarot card. Place the active killer in your space. They are in my space. Attack. Well... Well, I can't do anything about that. I can't do anything about that. I don't have a guard or anything, so that unfortunately gets rid of our last 2 health. That's unfortunate. We've been murdered. We did get to use the obliterator though. We had a plan. It's just because I forgot to It's just because I forgot to pay for that obliterator and I was being a good player and retroactively paying for it. I wasn't able to buy a guard or anything. So that's unfortunate. But such is life. Such is life. We did do a little bit of damage. We did 6 total damage. So we didn't, unfortunately, kill anyone. Had we used that weak attack first, would we have killed Baghead? We would have. We could have killed Baghead had we done that weak attack first. So that sucks. We could have survived a little longer, at least long enough to use the... Although I guess it wouldn't have mattered, because as soon as Baghead died, Trish would have became the active killer, and the terror card was still to move them into our space and attack us. So we would have been dead either way. We just would have killed one of the killers. That would have been nice. That would have been nice, but alas. What was their finale? It would have activated at the end of this turn. Hunt, sweet hunt. So each attack does 1 additional damage, and they would have moved twice towards the closest victim, attacked once, and then the killer track would have moved up. The active killer would have moved up. So, unfortunately, that was a failure for us. But what do I think of this scenario? A knock at the door. I thought it was pretty good. I liked it. Wingard Cottage, pretty cool. Pretty cool map. I like the crafting idea. I like getting stuff together to be able to craft it. I think that's a really fun idea. That's about it. Otherwise, the map's, pretty standard map. You have your indoor-outdoor sections. Everything is split up. There's actually a lot of dead ends. There's a lot of dead ends in this one compared to some of the other maps. Well, I guess there's only 3 rooms. 3 rooms on the inside that are dead ends. I think that's pretty standard. The boathouse, obviously, the shed, dead ends. So 5 total spaces that are dead ends. And then I guess the exits as well. But there are multiple spaces you can move off the exits. So 5 total dead ends on this map, which isn't great if you have victims there and a killer on the outside. And then the killers, I also thought the killers were pretty interesting. Having those 3 enemies is pretty interesting. It's a bit like the organisms from Panic at Station 2891. Except here, they're all active at once, whereas in Station 2891, they progressively come onto the map. So this, you could see this as a bit of a harder version of the organism killers. But I like them. I think it's a cool idea. They have a lot of health. They have a lot of health. But I think it's a pretty cool idea. It's a cool idea. We actually used some items this time, so that's nice. I think this is the first time we've really used items. We didn't end up getting to use the blender. I don't think we were really in the house at all. We went through the garage, but I think we were mostly outside during this playthrough. We definitely have to try and focus on getting people out of there more, because the bloodlust track going up is what always screws us over, because they just start moving so fast and dealing so much damage. I think we need to focus more on getting victims off the board ahead of time, especially in Ginny's case, because her power gives us more time for extra saved victims. So it's not like we're wasting it by getting health back or something. So it actually probably would have been more beneficial to just focus buying sprints, using my walks to just save people, opposed to trying to set stuff up. We should have maybe waited a little longer to set stuff up. But yeah, that's it for a knock at the door. Pretty interesting scenario. I enjoyed it. I liked it. If you guys have played a knock at the door from Series 2 of Final Girl, let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. If you have played Final Girl in general, let me know what you think about it. Do you enjoy it? Do you not enjoy it? Let me know why. If watching this has made you want to try the game out for yourself, let me know that down below as well. It's always interesting to see what kind of games people check out based on the stuff we take a look at on the channel here. If you're over on Instagram, you can follow us at the Board Games Are For Everybody Instagram page. We just post photos of games that we're playing, as well as pickups. If you're over on Board Game Arena, you can send me a friend request at Games Are For Everybody. Just Games Are For Everybody. Over on Board Game Arena, we can play some games. But yeah, that's it. That's it for this. That was A Knock at the Door, Final Girls Series 2 at Wingard Cottage with the Intruders. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully I will see you all next time, but until then, just remember that board games are for everybody, and until next time, peace.